What's up, guys? We are back and just in time for Shark Week 2023. So, what's up? What's up? What's up? Hope everybody is doing well and had a good past couple of weeks. I mean, I guess I was just gone for a week, but we didn't have a stream last week. And hey, Howard, what's up, man? Welcome back. Happy Shark Week. It's good to be back. I am also... Hey, Roy, what's up? What's up? I am really jet lagged today, so... but it's really good to be back. I had a great time in the Pacific Northwest. I saw a friend in Washington State, and did a lot of snorkeling up there. And then saw my brother and his fiance in Oregon. So it was kind of a wild trip. I flew into Seattle. Actually, I got rerouted to San Francisco, then flew into Seattle. I don't like flying. Flew into Seattle, then had Washington adventures, then drove down to Oregon, and then flew out of Portland back to DC to get back to where I am in Virginia. So it was a wild, insane adventure, but a lot of fun. I just got back really early Sunday. No sharks, unfortunately, no sharks. But what's kind of cool about that is that's part of what the region is, because Pacific Northwest is big orca country, big killer whale country, and it was interesting kind of connecting the dots where it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of reasons why shark biodiversity is a bit lower, but, like, orca whales are natural predators of many shark species, so I don't know, it was kind of cool. We didn't see any orcas though either. I mean, they're definitely in the area, just we kind of like missed each other. So, but I got to snorkel with some harbor seals, which is really cool. Got to see some minke whales, sea lions, which I've never seen before. So it was a cool adventure. So, not many sharks. It's nice to come back to a very shark-heavy week. So, and tonight is going to be really awesome. We've got one of the most charismatic species in the world, beyond sharks, being Rhincodon typus, the whale shark. And we've got a lot of cool whale shark material to go over. But first, I feel like it's probably great to announce the contest winner. So this is really exciting. This is our first Shark Week together as a stream and as a channel and a community. And it's also our first Shark Week contest. I definitely plan on doing this every year because I think this is a really fun idea. But for this year, we did a banner contest. Submissions for the Shark Week, the Dr. Jaws YouTube channel banner, and prizes for that. So it's like a super art contest in celebration of Shark Week. And we have a winner. Let me pull this up. Our very own Howard Kerr, who nailed the biodiversity theme with the Shark Week contest. Thank you so much for submitting this banner. This is absolutely awesome, and there's so many species on here, and like covering all these different orders, which I really, really love. So this is really, really cool. And I am going to have this on the channel I'll have this ready this week. So this will be the official Dr. Jaws YouTube banner between today, Shark Week 2023 and Shark Week 2024. So we'll do another banner contest next year. But Howard, you are the reigning champion for our first ever banner contest. So thank you so much for your submission. I love that the whale shark is included. We got a lot of different species. We got the frilled shark down here for hexangiforms. We got the snaggletooth shark, Hemipristis, here for carcharodontiforms. The whale shark for electolobiforms, Rhincodon typus. The sand devil, I love that little detail that's a sand devil. I appreciate that because that is the angel shark in my neck of the woods. So that's super cool. The long-nosed saw shark for sand devil squatiniforms. The zebra bullhead shark for heterodontiforms. The salmon shark, and that's actually a really cool salmon shark. Like, I love like the profile on the head right there. But salmon shark for lambdaforms, cookie cutter shark right over here for squaliforms, and then bonus for Kaladoselaciforms, an ancient shark ancestor back here. We've got Kaladoselaci Phileri. So this is a Devonian shark ancestor. But this is super cool. I really love it, and I appreciate you submitting this because this is really awesome. on top of being on the official channel and being the banner for the channel, Howard, you receive our Megalodon tooth prize, along with a Carcocles anguistidens tooth. So these will be arriving, and a signed copy of the Bull Shark Compendium. So these will be sent to you. I will reach out to you for just contact information, and I'll send those over. But congratulations, and thank you so much for submitting for this contest. And your name will be on the channel banner as well. So I have the 2023 art contest winner in the upper right corner, and then I have the Dr. Jaws seal on the upper left corner, just to make it kind of cool. So yeah, but thank you so much for submitting. This was a super cool project, and I really love just kind of the community we've all built together. So yeah, so cheers, man. Congratulations. So let me sorry, let me go ahead and star. Seeing a lot of comments. Woohoo! Happy Shark Week, guys. Actually, shoot, I had my Marine Lab mug. I think I put it in the other room, but I will cheers with a fist bump. So, because I do have a glass of water, but apparently it is bad luck to cheers with a glass of water, so I will not do that. So, but thanks again. This banner looks awesome. So you will see that on the channel this week. So yeah. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into... Whoa, that is a whale. What's going on here? Oh, sorry, the video switched. Let's dive into the whale shark. Quick shout out to our music today. This is a really cool channel that I found called Jersey Vineyard Music. And it's this really relaxing undersea music with splicing together all this beautiful footage. So I really like it. I love small channels that have, like, I mean, really quality content. So I definitely like and subscribe. Definitely recommend liking and subscribing, because this is actually really cool. And I think it's a good atmosphere for tonight, because, you know, for Shark Week itself gets super sensationalized, and for us, we like to go into the science, and we like to go into just the sharks themselves and their biology and ecology, and just as much focus on that as possible, and without as much focus on sensationals. Let's see. So whale shark. I've got a couple sources open, sources, including our classic sharks of the world. And we've got a lot of cool footage, a lot of cool websites, a lot of new ones that we haven't seen before, just in terms of whale shark. Conservation and conservation needs. It is an endangered species, and again, it's a very high-profile species. So it's kind of like, I mean, I would rank it up there, like with panda bears or orca whales, as far as like charisma goes, and kind of like attention. But it's the largest shark in the world. Everybody says it's the largest fish in the world, and I always don't like that term personally, because it's like, I always think of sharks as their own special category, as you know, because like when you think of fish, you think of bony fish, but I don't know, that's just a technicality. But if you lump them in all together, it is the largest fish in the world, it is the largest shark in the world, even larger than the basking shark, and it is a distant cousin of our buddy the nurse shark. So it is in Orlectolobiforms. So, and what's really cool is you can see that with, I hope we can get a good shot of the head, kind of with the mouth. A classic feature of Orlectolobiforms is that the mouth is in front of the eyes. So, you know, many of our classic sharks, like the white shark and bull shark, they have the mouth underneath the eyes, you know, with like a pointy snout. But Orlectolobiforms, a distinguishing feature is that the mouth is right in front of the eyes. And that kind of helps some species with their suction feeding. Whale sharks are also known as suction feeders. There's a lot of great videos of them actually sucking fish out of fish nets, which is pretty adorable to see. Here's a good shot of the head, and you can see like the snout actually right in front of the eyes. You can also see the scale of this animal. This is an enormous animal. It's an enormous shark. Like the head on this individual, I mean, like it's as big as the diver right beside it, which is kind of mind blowing when you really think about it. So that's actually a really good shot, just kind of showing perspective. So. But it is one of the most beautiful sharks in the ocean. Aside from their size, I always think whale sharks are actually just like a gorgeous animal, like just like, you know, the spots, like the color palette of, like, you know, this like dark black background with like these beautiful white spots and stripes, and also like it's a very dramatic looking shark with these like really pronounced ridges towards the back of the body. It kind of reminds me of zebra sharks, which is another cousin, where it has these like really beautiful like keels and ridges down the back, and I suspect that is probably something that helps with it being a coastal pelagic animal. Whoop, nope, no, hate ads, get out of here, I don't want to drill. Being a coastal pelagic animal, traveling great migrations across the ocean, so... Oh, shoot, audio is fuzzy, sorry about that, audio is okay. Okay, awesome, thanks, Howard. And yes, I agree, Roy, I'm still shocked at how big this shark is, yeah. I always love... It sounds kind of basic, but I definitely recommend doing this sometime. Like, I always love just taking a tape measure and just kind of measuring spaces, kind of like in my apartment, in terms of like trying to estimate like how big a certain shark is. And it's kind of a fun thing to do. It sounds super basic, but it's like, it's pretty fun to kind of like do that and like kind of really grasp like the scale of a certain species. So it's especially fun. I always have fun with it with like kind of like the human-sized sharks, like sand tigers, or even nurse sharks, you know. But like applying that to like the largest ones is just like it's a fun exercise. I definitely recommend it. So this species is in its own family, Rhincodontidae. So it's unmistakable. There's no other shark like it, which I always think monotypic families are really cool, like tiger sharks or basking sharks. It just is a truly unique line of shark. So just checking out, oh, this is so cool. Just checking out Sharks of the World. Let's see some cliff notes on this species. This is a highly migratory shark. Long-distance, long-term movements are undertaken, including one 13,000 kilometer journey in one direction only, made over 37 months. So that is an amazing ocean traveler. So these long-distance migrations are presumably regular occurrences, since very little genetic variation has been found between whale sharks in different parts of the world. Tagging and photo identification have identified regular visits to aggregation sites, where as many as several hundred whale sharks may gather to feed at annual, seasonal, or lunar fish and invertebrate spawning events. So that's really cool. My best friend, she actually did. I think this was. I want to say this is in the Baja region, in Mexico. But she did a tour, and she was lucky enough to swim with whale sharks. Look at this group of whale sharks! Look at this! She was lucky enough to swim with whale sharks, and as part of this ecotour operation. And the way this ecotour operation works is that there is a level of predictability and reliability in terms of, like, yes, this is a site where whale sharks congregate. It happened. Oh my god! Look at that manta ray. Wow. Oh, that's cool. Manta rays are commonly seen with whale sharks because they both eat plankton. That's actually really cool. And that makes sense. So, but anyway, it's pretty wild that there are some ecotour companies that are established because, like, they can actually. I mean, there's that much of a presence of a certain species. Like it's almost like there's that high potential or high probability of seeing a whale shark because this is potentially one of the many sites in which they gather. So, but it was really cool. I think she did that last year, but she had a great time, and I will post the tour operator in the link description because I forget off the top of my head where that was. I'm pretty sure that was Mexico, but anyway. Let's see. The high density of plankton produced on these occasions is consumed by suction feeding and gulping, often while the shark hangs vertically in the water. Wild whale sharks can readily become used to being hand-fed. Wow, did not know that. Populations appear to segregate by age and sex. Some well-known whale shark aggregations used for dive tourism are predominantly of immature males. Interesting. So, oh my gosh. But this is a really fun species to do for this week in particular because there's just so much material. And man, these are so cool. there's so much material, and not just like the pretty footage, but also just research. So there's a lot to chew on tonight, which is really going to be a lot of fun. So one thing about this species too is that it is mostly a warm water species. So as far as like getting a chance to swim with these magnificent animals, that's probably not as difficult to do as it is with basket sharks. Basket sharks do have their great, places, like Scotland is a big place for basket sharks and being able to swim with them. But I think whale sharks, just being in the warm water, that probably is a easier adventure to be had. So, and hopefully I could do that someday. So, fun fact, whale sharks have been seen in my part of the world. They're very, 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 very rare, but I'm kind of near the northern limit of their range. A couple years ago, there was one seen off of Norfolk Canyon undergoing a migration, so it's not something that I would never say I live in whale shark country, but it is something that is like, it can happen, It is one of the rare animals that could be seen off Virginia or mid-Atlantic waters, and especially offshore, closer to the Gulf Stream. So, which makes sense. Again, warm water species. So, let's see. So that was a really cool video from Go Globe Hopper. Subscribe to that. And let me catch up on the comments. So. Yeah, it was such a like I was blown away by what my friend did. Actually, that reminds me of a different whale shark. That was great footage of a different whale shark story. A colleague of mine back in Vims, he actually did a dive tour with whale. I think I've told the story before. He did a dive tour with whale sharks, and he got too close to it, and the shark was fine. Like, it wasn't aggressive or anything, but because all sharks, have the dermal denticles, if they rub you the wrong way, they can actually cause a lot of damage, because the dermal denticles are like, they're tooth scales, right? And the tail of a whale shark, it actually hit his calf and created this big gash. It just like the force and the power of the tail and the size of this animal, plus the dermal denticles being really sharp if they hit you in the wrong way, made a big gash in his calf. So he actually has a scar to this day. So, which is a really cool story. And like he's fine, but it's a really cool story and a nice reminder of even though this is a completely harmless shark and non-aggressive, it's still important to respect these animals and give them the proper space, because it is such a huge animal, and sharks have those really rough scales. So I think it just kind of caught him in the wrong way. It's mostly the size of the tail, but yeah, this is really good footage. I forget where he went seeing that whale shark. So. But I love how it's nice to see how calm these animals seem to be. Not really avoiding, there's a lot of human activity in this video, but you could see that this species has every opportunity to descend or to avoid these people, and it seems pretty relaxed, pretty chill, conserving its energy. You can make an argument that it might be staying at the surface to maximize chances of running into plankton, since plankton are more concentrated on the surface. I do not recommend touching the whale shark. Please leave it alone. But it is a beautiful animal, and it's just what can I say? It's the favorite shark of many people for a good reason. So this is a viviparous species, which actually that's a bit of a no. Never mind. It's a viviparous species. The only recorded pregnant female from Taiwan had over 300 small pups and eggs in her uterus. Feeds on planktonic crustaceans, fish eggs, and small shoaling fishes. We have to check. Let's check the viviparity thing if we get a chance. Because I thought. No, that makes sense. Never mind. I always get confused. Sometimes, yeah. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that makes sense. I get confused sometimes because how carpet sharks occupy a similar niche to cat sharks. Cat sharks lay eggs. I don't think carpet sharks lay eggs, but it just confused me for a second. And again, jet lag. So, anyway, IUCN Relis status is endangered. The species has been fished, apparently unsustainably, for meat in many areas. Harpoon fisheries have caused rapid, steep declines in catches in the Philippines, Taiwan, Maldives, and India. Whale sharks have also been used as a natural fish aggregating device in some oceanic tuna fisheries, where vessels have encircled them with purse seines. This activity is now widely prohibited by tuna regional fisheries management organizations. The fins are reportedly not of good quality for soup, but are valued for their great size. The whale sharks are legally protected in many states, particularly following their protection by international environmental agreements such as CITES and SIMS, and regional fisheries management organizations, and because their economic value for dive tourism has risen hugely in recent decades. So, this is definitely one of the most charismatic species for shark conservation. It's definitely one that has received a lot of attention and probably, arguably, the most protection. I kind of feel like whale sharks and white sharks, they're both pretty high up there. Whale sharks, white sharks, hammerheads, makos, those are pretty high as far as sharks go. But I think whale sharks being, like the book said, a huge attraction for dive ecotourism, it makes sense that they're probably the most charismatic as far as protection goes. So, but catching up on comments in the chat. Sorry. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that story about my friends. It was a pretty cool story. Like, it was kind of funny. It's like one of those. Thanks, Howard. Yeah, it's one of those stories when it's one of those things like you don't think about it, and then when you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, it's a big animal, and like in all situations, for something that is larger than you, stronger than you, it deserves an extra layer of caution. So. When a shark smack is scarier than a shark bite, yeah, they both draw blood. Anyway, this is really cool. This is from the Australian Museum, our good friend Australian Museum, which I've never really explored a lot of the Australian Museum stuff, but I think with the live stream, we've been able to see a lot of cool material from them. So it's now become a new favorite. And again, this is really cool footage, illustrating very nicely how the mouth is in front of the eyes. The spiracles are actually really close to the eyes. That's a nice little snapshot of the teeth of the whale shark. Gills trap food such as small fishes and crustaceans. So it sounds like this species has gill rakers. And it is actually really cool to see, kind of in the book, just that confirmation that it does eat small fish. I think I always grew up thinking this was just a plankton-eating shark, but the diet is a bit wider than that. So, and I like that advice. Snorkel no closer than 3 meters from a whale shark. So that's, what is that? 10 feet. That is 10 feet. So, but yeah. That's a cool little note on suckerfish or remoras or whale suckers. On the whale shark's belly. So. But again, I love these beautiful ridges, like on the back of the body, and ending in like this really dramatic keel with the tail. Like, it's, again, I'm pretty sure this is a feature that has helped it for its migrations. But it's just such a beautiful feature. It's so dramatic. Even the tail. I mean, the tail is enormous. Like, it has this beautiful crescent-shaped tail that is pretty big, like, as far as sharks go. Not just in its actual size, but proportionally to the rest of the body. That is an enormous tail. So, I'm going to sneeze, I think. Hold on. All right, I think I'm good. Oh, keep at least 4 meters away. It's about 12 feet. I think my colleague probably should have taken that advice, so. Let's replay that again. It's a pretty cool shot. let's see. Don't think I have anything more from Sharks of the World, but I'm also pulling out Shark Biology and Conservation by Dan Abel and Dean Grubbs, both of whom, or at least Abel, I think Jess mentioned Grubbs too, but like, Jess mentioned Abel in our guest stream, so it was cool to kind of pull this book out again, and it has like cool cliff notes on a lot of different shark species. It's also an excellent resource for just basic shark biology, if you want to get into more details on that, on every level: evolution, anatomy, reproduction. It's a really good book, conservation. So I definitely, there's definitely a lot to be gained out of it. But let's see. That's a cool observation. This is the only pelagic Orlectolobiform, so it's the only member of this order that actually is in the open ocean. Large aggregations of whale sharks have been observed in about 20 so-called hotspots, including off the coast of Australia, Belize, the Maldives, and the Gulf of Mexico, where they gather the feed. Oh, the 2001 documentary Shores of Silence, Whale Sharks in India, exposed the unregulated artisanal whale shark fishery along northwest India. The film led the Indian government to list the species on the Indian Wildlife Protection Act, with additional conservation measures by non-governmental organizations like the Wildlife Trust of India. These efforts have drastically reduced, but not eliminated, the whale shark catches there. That's interesting. Whale sharks are yolk sac viviparous, retaining egg cases internally. Surprisingly, whale sharks are maintained successfully in captivity even after being shipped 8,000 miles. So the most famous example of that, of course, is the Georgia Aquarium in Atlanta. I've never been to it, but it is definitely the most famous aquarium. I don't know if it's the only aquarium in the United States that has whale sharks, but it is definitely by far the most famous. And we've got a lot of cool resources from them tonight. So, but yeah, it is pretty amazing that that species, or this species, can be kept in captivity for public aquaria. So, but yeah, so this is cool from Australian Museum. Definitely subscribe to that. Catching up on comments. Ooh, this is a good question. Howard, how much plankton does it take to sustain a whale shark? That's an excellent question. I'd love to find that out. I don't know off the top of my head, but what'd be kind of cool is it might not be as much as one would think, because plankton are extremely energy rich, pound for pound. Like an ounce of plankton is going to be like 10 times more rich in energy than an ounce of meat, which is kind of cool. Whenever like I would teach like biology or like I guess biology lectures to like middle school and high school, that was always one of my favorite things to do, was to kind of show like pound for pound, like plankton, because it's directly getting energy from sunlight and not losing any energy in that process. It is the most energetically rich food source, and then when you go higher and higher and higher up the food chain, you lose more energy in that process. So high food chain items, pound for pound, don't really have as much energy, as like the direct source being plankton. So I always like to say, like, I forget exactly like what those quotients are, but like, to say like, I mean like honestly like say like an ounce of plankton has 100% energy, and an ounce of shark meat has like 10% energy, 5% of that energy. Like there's so many, like because there's so many trophic layers and there's so many steps up the food chain. Like plankton is the most energy rich food source. It's part of why whale sharks get so big. It's part of why whales get so big, is because they're actually getting the most nutritious pound for pound food source in the ocean. So I hope that makes sense. I think I explained it really well, and then I think I got convoluted later. But yeah, I guess kind of related to your question, I'm curious to know how much plankton it would take, but I would not be surprised if it's kind of a surprisingly low amount, actually, because plankton is so rich in energy. So, oh yeah. Roy, when I was younger, people kept telling me whale sharks didn't have teeth. I'm happy to that they get to showcase that here. Yes. So all sharks, even plankton-eating sharks, have teeth. Basking sharks have very reduced teeth, and whale sharks have reduced teeth as well. So That was, I agree. It is really cool to see that because it does get kind of confusing with like the gill rakers versus teeth. So let's see. Let's check out a couple of resources. I do want to get a quick shot of Shark References. Usually has a good guide or a good photos of like a jaw set. Oh wow, it actually has a lot of beautiful photos of the whale shark. Just want to check these. That's really cool. That's actually a lot of photos of the species. And that's a nice shot of it filter feeding. Very cool. But I wanted to see. Ah, man, it's it's so cool. I remember like when I was a kid, I always had a hard time trying to find the eyes of a whale shark. These are the nostrils right here. The eyes are at the side of the head, but the mouth is so huge. You know, I think when you're younger, it's an easy mistake to make in terms of like not being able to locate that. So, especially since like if you look at the camera and the angle, like it's all just this giant head, and like this enormous body is being blocked by this huge head. So I mean, it's just really cool. So here's a nice little snapshot of the teeth. This is what I was looking for. So these are really, really tiny, and we saw from that little clip that they're arranged in a row. So there's a huge amount of teeth on a row in the jaw, but they're each very, very tiny, very, very tiny teeth. So that's really cool. That's a nice shot, actually. You can see like all the plankton in this as well. So very cool. So I was mentioning Georgia Aquarium earlier. So that's one of the new websites I want to check out tonight. So webcams. I don't know if this is going to break the internet, but I actually do want to see if we could see a live view of the whale shark tank without an ad. Oh, skip ad. There we go. Well, there we go. Look at that. So that's really cool. So on the Georgia Aquarium... Oh, there's a black-tip reef shark in here. So on the Georgia Aquarium website, they actually have a live feed of the sharks in the tank. And there it is. Look at that. This is actually really cool. This is actually live right now. So there is their captive whale shark. It's actually really cool to see the scale of this versus like you can see like that looks like a manta ray almost. And there's a sandbar shark right there too. This is so wild, actually. Wow, there's a lot in this tank. These look like a kind of jack. That I forget. I should know what that is. I forget what that that yellow fish is. I really should know what that is actually. There's a cownose ray. It looks like back here. There's a lot going on here. Like, wow. So yeah, there's a tarpon right there. But yeah, that's actually really cool that they have this live stream of their tank. I can't imagine what this is like in person. This is definitely something I need to do someday. Oh, there's a guitar fish sleeping on the bottom. Check it out. Look at this shark. This one is interesting. That's a black-tip reef shark. That is a black-tip reef shark. So, and that really does look like a small manta ray. I don't think it's another species of ray. I think that actually is a literal manta ray. Wow, this is definitely sold me. Another guitar fish back here. I just want to wait for one more whale shark pass. While I try to figure out this thing, I really shouldn't. I'm kicking myself because I really should know what that yellowfish is. That's like a. What is that? That's killing me. It's like a jolt head porgy something. That's not it. I can't remember what that is, but I should know. Come on, whale shark. This is my good old friend, the cow-nosed ray over here, and there's a spotted eagle ray right there. That's a really cool tank. But I love these rays. These are very populous. These cow-nosed rays are very populous in the Chesapeake Bay. We get them every summer, and I've been fortunate enough to swim with them. I've actually been fortunate enough to be surprised by them in the depths, in the murk. That actually is a little scary to like swim with a ray, or swim with a ray that you weren't expecting. Okay, this is a huge tank because we're seeing everything but the whale shark now. So this tank is like impossibly big if the whale shark can disappear from view for that long. So let's check out the chat. Let's see. Oh, is there a symbiotic relationship there? What would happen if the plankton population went unchecked? That's a really cool question. So honestly, Howard, I would be very happy if the plankton population went unchecked, because for a couple reasons. So one, that's abundant food for a lot of different animals and a lot of different marine life. But two, there is, and like, don't quote me on this because it's been a while since I've understood like the details of this, but there is a weird phenomenon where I forget if it's like plankton or a kind of bacteria, kind of like ocean-going bacteria, but there is a weird phenomenon of plankton and bacteria being a carbon sink in the open ocean, and possibly accounting for like a lot of carbon capture back from the atmosphere. So it is like another buffer to help against global warming or climate change. I forget the details of how that whole thing works, but there's carbon sources and carbon sinks. For example, carbon sources are like fossil fuels being emitted in the air. Carbon sinks are like trees or plants, just like capturing carbon and holding onto it while producing oxygen. So being a great way to make sure there's help retain carbon from becoming carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. But similarly, plankton, being a plant, or phytoplankton being a plant, it's a similar thing where it captures a lot of carbon and is actually a really good carbon sink. And when you think about like how huge the ocean is, that's a huge buffer against climate change. So long story short, I am fully supportive of a planktonic sea, as far as it's like as long as it's like small phytoplankton and not a bunch of jellyfish. So, but yeah, actually, as far as a symbiotic relationship, or a way that whale sharks, I don't know if, I think because since plankton is so abundant, I don't know if, I'm not really sure off the top of my head if whale sharks help keep something balanced since it's so abundant. But if anything, I mean, plankton can be anything like fish eggs or crab eggs or jellyfish egg or baby jellyfish. So it could help with like that. I'm gonna say I don't think off the top of my head whale shark diet helps with a kind of population control that like is critical to a certain ecosystem, like when you think of like other famous examples like sea otters and urchins, and how sea otters need to be here so they can eat the sea urchins so that the sea urchins don't eat the kelp. I don't think whale sharks are in a similar situation, but I could be wrong. And for any future viewers, if you are listening to this and have an opinion, please comment in the chat, because I would love to hear that. Because I don't know off the top of my head if there is a relationship. So, and sorry, I got so into that I actually was not paying attention to whether or not there's a whale shark here. But oh, that's why we saw an ad. This is presented by Home Depot. Interesting. So I just noticed that on the top right corner. So this tank is enormous. I don't know how we missed this shark. Did you guys see it while I was talking about carbon? Oh, Roy, it's a mobula ray. Nice. Okay, so... Oh, is this might be a loop. Is this a loop? Because I think I saw that No, it's not a loop. I don't know. We'll give it a couple more minutes because I think we got the point across that this is a huge tank with a huge species. But yeah, if you are ever traveling to Atlanta, the Georgia Aquarium is a must-see. Clearly, because this is just unbelievable. Like, we lost a whale shark. Like, that's really absolutely insane, actually. Like, I've never, ever seen a tank this big. Ever. I don't think any of the aquariums I've been to have come close to what this is. So, there's a nice little grouper down here. It looks like a grouper. But it's also been fun, you know, celebrating Shark Week and shark biodiversity. It's been fun seeing all the other sharks and cousins of sharks in this tank. So, give it a couple more minutes. Guitarfish are so cool. Like, I get confused with the difference between a guitarfish and a wedgefish, and I think there's another name for these. Oh, look at this! This is a zebra shark. There's another shark. So we've got black-tip reef shark, zebra shark, sandbar shark, and whale shark. So that's 4 species in this tank so far that we know of. We'll give it a couple more seconds. Nice sandbar shark cruising down there. Yeah, that's unbelievably huge. These are cool. These big fat fish up here. Those look kind of Pacific to me. I don't know. I don't think that's an Atlantic species. This is wild. I can't believe we're not seeing it. Oh, zebra sharks and whale sharks have very distinct ridges. Are they related somehow? Yes. So taxonomically, these are related. They are in the same order. However, evolutionary-wise, adaptation-wise, that's actually a really good question because whale sharks, those ridges, I'm going to assume they help reduce drag or have something to do with their pelagic nature. But zebra sharks, I don't really know what these ridges are about, actually, because zebra sharks are a reef species, and you know, they're pretty sedentary, as far as I know. Oh, this is a nice shot of the zebra shark right here, actually. Look at that. That is beautiful. So I guess this is live. I guess this is not a loop. Very cool. Well, oh, there there it is in the upper left. I see. So I think this tank is so big that we're actually seeing like just a portion of it. There we go. You can see a little bit. Oh shoot. I think we're seeing just a portion of it, and we're not seeing like the whole tank. And I think there's this top layer. Oop, this like there's a huge piece of it that's at the top, and I think the whale sharks are staying at the top, whereas like other species like the sandbar shark, or I love the countless rays, are sitting at the bottom. Oh nope! Here we go! Here we go! Coming in at the last second in the corner. Okay, I'm glad we stayed. Here we go. There is our beautiful whale shark. There we go. We waited for you. That's a nice little pass. I will take that. I mean, we can kind of see its head. I mean, look how big it is, you know, compared to like the rays and the other fish. All right, but yeah, this is what I was talking about. I guess, you know, this webcam is just showing the bottom part of the tank, and the whale shark was hiding behind the other links this whole time. So, but okay, this is really cool. Watch at your own leisure the Georgia Aquarium Ocean Voyager cam. There's a bunch of other cams on this website as well, but this one is actually extremely cool. So without further ado, let's check out some Georgia Aquarium research on this species. So this is the Galapagos Whale Shark Project Fieldwork Report. So I'm curious how much this is related to the aquarium proper. It looks like it is closely related. This guy's wearing a Georgia Aquarium t-shirt. And, oh, there's actually a lot of different, oh, there's a lot of different things. Okay, there we go. So this is a multi-group project. So Dirección del Parque Nacional Galapagos, Marine Megafauna Foundation, Galapagos Conservation Trust, Universidad San Francisco de Quito, Galapagos Whale Shark Project, Georgia Aquarium, and Plantera. Also, I see World Wildlife Foundation, or World Wildlife Foundation? Yeah, World Wildlife Foundation. This is really cool. All right. So let's dive in. I'm very curious to see what this is about. And yes, Howard, correct. I think they are in the same order. So yes, zebra sharks and whale sharks are definitely both erectolobiforms. So same order. Good call. All right. So Galapagos Marine Reserve. I'll just kind of like scan through this. Of the creation of Galapagos Marine Reserve, extending 40 nautical miles from the outermost point of the peripheral islands, a large area of the Northeast Pacific, provides protection to a diverse and thriving marine community that includes many of the Galapagos endemic species, as well as resident native and migratory fauna, including the world's largest fish, the whale shark Rhincodon typus. An ocean traveler, the whale shark is found between the latitudes of 40 degrees north and 45 degrees south in all the oceans, and mostly associated with tropical, subtropical, and temperate waters. I think I'm 36 degrees north, I think is my latitude. I could be wrong about that, but that's very specific, and I feel like it's specific because I nerded out one day and remembered it, so or learned it. So, whale sharks feed predominantly by filter feeding on a wide variety of planktonic organisms, but have been observed lunge feeding on larger prey such as schooling fishes, small crustaceans, and occasionally tuna and squid. Interesting. I'm assuming these are tiny tuna and squid. This is odd. Whale sharks, because we read in both Sharks of the World and Shark Biology and Conservation that whale sharks are viviparous, but this is saying whale sharks are ovoviviparous, with eggs hatching within the female's uteri and the female giving birth to live young. So I don't know what the confusion is. This seems like a pretty solid report, so I'm not really sure what the confusion is with that. But as I understand it, there are three major types of shark reproduction. There's viviparous, which is live birth, ovoviviparous, which is eggs that are retained inside the body, and so ultimately it is a kind of live birth, but there is a process in which there are eggs inside the female shark's body. And then oviparous, which is egg laying, which is like cat sharks and bullhead sharks. So it's interesting that we saw both ovoviviparous and viviparous for whale sharks and describing the reproduction. So we'll put a pin in that. Very little is known about their biology and ecology and their movements, particularly in the eastern tropical Pacific. Oh, this is cool. The Galapagos Whale Shark Project began in 2011. Early data show that over 99% of all sightings in Galapagos were of adult females. That is interesting. This is cool. So this is a really cool, beautiful bathymetric map. Look at that. I love 3D maps and 3D models. So this is a really cool map of Darwin Island in the Galapagos, and you can see this like shallow area and then progressively deeper waters, 40 meters, 60 meters, 80 meters. That is extremely cool. Love maps like this. It's so cool. Oh, and you can see the reserve boundaries. So the Galapagos Marine Reserve, Darwin Island being here, and this is a 40-mile buffer around the islands. So cool. That was a nice shot of tagging. Diver tagging a whale shark with a hybrid mini pat spot tag. That's really cool. And again, the scale. This human being is not even as long as the distance between the first dorsal fin and second dorsal fin on this shark. It's just unbelievable. Talking about tagging. We attempting to correlate data about diving behavior with position relative to the ocean floor to determine if diving and surface movements are related to benthic features and geological structures such as fracture zones, faults, fissures, seamounts, and plate margins. Okay, that's a cool idea. Oh, this is cool. So we're talking about sometimes the tags, like beyond 2,000 meters, which is definitely in the midnight zone, it is highly unlikely that either tag will survive being crushed and cease transmissions of data storage. In order to collect data, we were assisted this season by Dr. Al Dove from the Georgia Aquarium, who, in collaboration with Icy Solutions, will develop a deep tag B2. Interesting. The deep V2 tag is tested to 4,500 meters. That's insane. Let's hope to provide information to 6,000 meters. That's absolutely insane. So it's not this tag. This is a different tag. Oh, this is cool. So they're talking about this spot tag. The spot 6 type 257 has an estimated battery life of 1,500 days or 4.1 years. That's pretty amazing. This potentially gives us a better opportunity of tracking regional movements and maybe even recording their return to the Galapagos Marine Reserve. I'm really excited to see the results of this. This is really interesting. Okay, talking about tags. This is the super deep tag with the Georgia Aquarium logo on it. It's pretty fun. Okay. Gorgeous shot of that whale shark. Beautiful. Oh, this is interesting. Blood draw from the pelvic fin. So that's interesting in terms of like how much data you can get from blood, genetic data, or protein data. That's actually really cool. Oh. These samples were analyzed on board for basic data, partial pressure of O2, CO2, pH, and lactic acid. The latter can be used to determine stress levels in an individual, and importantly has shown that after tagging and other procedures, the lactic acid levels do not show any stress in the animal. Okay. Oh, and this is a nice little snapshot. Blood samples for sharks. Blood samples provide us with various physiological information. For example, sex steroid hormones concentration in the blood is considered to be useful for estimating reproductive status of individuals. There are several reports that increase in estradiol. Oh my gosh, jet lag. Estradiol, E2 are often correlated with follicular development, and progesterone is involved in ovulation and or pregnancy. On the other hand, for the whale shark, such information is insufficient, especially as there is no information on sex hormones in mature individuals. In this project, we collected blood samples from 7 presumed mature individuals. Oh, this is cool. And measured levels of sex steroid hormones, including estradiol, progesterone, and testosterone for the first time in the world. All right, so this is a really cool project. Okay, just want to kind of get into the results. Oh, wait. Okay, these are kind of more methods. Okay. So this is really cool. So this is tagging data of whale sharks around the Galapagos Islands and then making a journey to the continental shelf, or the Peru shelf. That was really cool. That's pretty amazing to see. And this data is like really helpful. Like any shark tagging data is really helpful because like confirming the presence of a shark and applying that to like, is this zone protected? Is there a lot of fishing activity in this zone? It is very valuable data from a conservation standpoint. This is really cool, showing kind of how deep that the sharks go. You can see that they're very close to the surface, which makes sense. They're plankton feeders and they want to be close to their food source. So that's really cool. Monday jet lag is the worst. Sorry, I just saw that comment. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm doing amazingly well. It may not seem like it, but I'm functioning. So, oh my gosh, yeah. I was driving yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah. Oh my gosh, yesterday was Sunday. I literally almost like crashed. I had to like pull over and just take a nap somewhere yesterday. So it's traveling is wild times. So, but this is interesting. These depth charts, max depth, 1,592 meters. So that's pretty amazing to see, because this is a species that spends most of the time at the surface, but it definitely goes into the twilight zone and the midnight zone. It's kind of wild to think about, like deep water whale sharks. It's a pretty frightening concept, actually. So max depth 1,839 meters. That's wild. This is a span from September 2018 to October 2018. So this is not even a month. That's actually pretty interesting that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in a month, shark dives at a pretty considerable depth. Like this individual goes to a pretty considerable depth. And you want to wonder why. Like, why would it go that far down? You know. Oh, this is so cool. The area shown in red is used for mapping the unique spot patterns for identification. So I forgot about that. You can identify individual whale sharks based on their spot patterns. That reminds me of whale identification, that you can identify individual whales by their dorsal fins. So that's actually extremely cool for huge whale shark lovers out there. I'm sure there are like collections of data or databases of individuals, and that's really cool that you can actually do that at that level, like identifying an individual at the individual level based on the patterns of the spots. So, and that no two whale sharks spot patterns are exactly alike. So that's actually extremely cool, and I love that. So, total 33 individual whale sharks were photographed and today is submitted to the Wild Book for Sharks Global Database for Identification. Let's check that out. Definitely want to see that. Look at this! This is so cool. Wow, the Wild Book for Sharks Photo Identification Library is a visual database of various shark encounters of individually cataloged sharks. The library is maintained and used by marine biologists to collect and analyze shark sighting data to learn more about these amazing creatures. The Wild Book uses photographs of the skin patterning behind the gills of each shark and any scars to distinguish between individual animals. Cutting-edge software supports rapid identification using pattern recognition and photo management tools. You too can assist with shark research by submitting photos and sighting data. The information you submit will be used to mark recapture studies to help with global conservation of these threatened species. That is extremely cool. Yes, I would love to see the individual species, individuals, like the individual whale sharks. So, counter of MZ 864. This is cool. Okay. So is MZ864 a shark? We get an individual shark. An encounter is assigned a single animal at a specific location. Or is that the encounter? Oh, and you can adopt a whale shark. Wow. This is so cool, actually. Oh man. View approved encounters. Oh, you have to log in to do this? Darn it. Can I see gallery? Individuals? Okay, so this is actually really cool. So there's actually, it's not just about whale sharks, it's a lot of different sharks. Like individual, oh my god, and you can adopt all these sharks? What is, I've never heard of this. That is so cool. Look at this, so you got sand tiger sharks. Happy Shark Week, guys. Like, this is really cool. This, what shark is this? View profile. Kind of want to know what this is, actually. This is a great white, Rhincodon calcareus, with unique fin marks. This is really, really cool. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Roy. You're doing amazing. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Howard, getting rid of parasites for whale sharks diving into the depths. That's a really good theory, actually, or hypothesis. It's a really good hypothesis. Could be. Maybe there's either there could be predators in the depths that might help clean the shark, or maybe the conditions of the depths themselves, like the high pressure and the coldness. I don't know. I don't know if that could actually be a really good way to clean certain parasites. If I don't know the resistance of ocean parasites in terms of like what is their temperature range, what is their pressure range. Like I actually don't know that much about seagoing parasites like the copepods and things like. So that's a really good hypothesis in terms of like why the shark might be going that far down. So that's actually really cool because like if there are stresses to parasites, I mean, you know, pressure and temperature, you know, I feel like those would be good ones. So, but I don't know. Like that's a really good question. So, let's go back to. I had no idea this existed. Let's check out this whale shark. No nickname. View profile. Wow. Photo data. Encounter of A666. Okay, this is really cool. Okay, so this is a really cool website. I won't spend too much time on here, but I had no idea that this was a thing. So this is actually really cool. We may need to adopt a shark at some point. So this is this is really, really cool. Okay, I do want to check out the sand tiger really quick because I just think that's really fascinating. View profile. Marked individual LO317. Yeah, I mean this is really cool. Location France, FR. What is that? Not France. FR. Grey nurse shark. So that's Australia somewhere. If they're calling it a grey nurse shark. Okay, sorry. This is really cool. I had no idea this existed. So, Shark Book, Wild Book for Sharks. This is a website where you can submit identification and adopt a shark, apparently. So, I think maybe my mission is I'd love to. Well, let's look at adoptable animals. I think it would be best to run into a shark, maybe submit a photo myself, and then adopt the animal that I submit. That would be really cool. But for any viewers, if you wanted to adopt a shark, this looks like a great white, actually, right? View profile. Yep, that's a great white, Rhincodon carcarius. So yeah, if anybody wants to adopt an animal or adopt a shark, this looks really, really cool. So very, very cool website. So Shark Book, Wild Book for Sharks. Let's go back to the research article. But that was a really fun trip. No idea that was a thing. So, although I will say, I mean, if I adopted a shark, it would be, I don't know if you can see this here, but it would be this hammerhead. This is so far maybe my favorite shark encounter, or one of my favorite shark encounters. It's very glary, but yeah. Actually, I wonder if I can pull that up. Nah. Yeah, I probably can't find that photo. Anyway, that hammerhead is probably the shark I would adopt. So, scalped hammerhead from Norfolk Canyon. Let's see. We were on. Let's see if there's more results from this, and then we'll move on because it's already 10 o'clock. It's kind of amazing, actually, but it's the Shark Week special. We can press on for. All right, so we were here because like I had no idea that you can like identify sharks or individual sharks and adopt some of them. So that's extremely cool. Okay, in Galapagos, we now have a total of over 550 individual whale sharks identified, as the next generation dive masters have been actively supporting the program and submitting IDs to Sophia Green. Special thanks to dive master and guide Paolo Tobar, who in particular has been consistently submitting images. Very cool. Excuse me. Well, that I don't know if I'm seeing that correctly. That almost looks like this shark has an injury on its side, but I don't know if I don't know if that's the angle, if that's something I'm seeing correctly. I don't see a caption for the photo. But these are beautiful photos. Okay. More tracking data, which is really awesome. It also could be maybe that one photo I was looking at, maybe the color palette, because like look at this. I just noticed this. Like, the whale shark has a kind of like cape, like a white cape. Or I don't think it's this individual alone, because you see this beautiful spotted color palette or color pattern, and then underneath the base of the first dorsal fin, this really cool white cape, which that's a feature I never really noticed before. So. Okay, so I think this was not really like, this is kind of more like a report. It's not really a traditional study with discussion or results. It's kind of interspersed within the whole thing. But this was actually really cool, and it introduced us to the photo identification website, re-emphasizing that there are sharks that are identifiable on an individual level, and you can adopt some of them. So that was really cool. So thank you, Georgia Aquarium, and the other partners for that project. And yeah, and that was just a really cool website. So awesome. Howard, I have a scalped hammerhead mount on my living room wall. Wow, is it based on mounts? Mounts are so wild to me because like, is that based on a real individual? Because like, Mounts are really wild to me. Part of me is like sometimes like I'm like there's no way that was a real shark, and then I look at them and like the details like that was a real shark, like that was a real individual. But yeah, send me if you get a chance, send me a photo of that if you don't mind, because like that's pretty wild. It's definitely, I mean, I love all sharks, but scalloped hammerhead's definitely absolutely one of my favorite species because it's one of the species that I've been lucky enough to see in the wild. So definitely show me if you get a chance, if you want to, please send me please send a photo, because that would be really cool. This is Maldives Whale Shark Research Program. So I think Maldives is one of the hotspots or hotspots for whale shark. I think it is like an aggregation site. So I thought this would be a cool website. This is another new website to check out. And let's see if we can kind of get a video going. The Maldives Whale Shark Research Program is a charity that carries out marine wildlife research and fosters community-focused conservation initiatives in the Maldives. The field team, the program monitors the demographics and movements of different species such as whale sharks, biggest fish in the ocean. Right. Well, this is already gorgeous. Wow, that is extremely high quality footage. Zoom ahead to the sharks. Just kind of zooming ahead to the sharks. Zooming ahead. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, this is cool. So, oh, nice white tip reef shark right there. Tridon obesus. Manta rays. And man, that's beautiful water. There we go. There is a whale shark, a little bit of a smaller individual right there. Lots of people just want to look at the shark. Oh, that is. I wonder what kind of. Is that a hawksbill sea turtle? I don't know. Oh my gosh! There we go. Man, that is really good footage. It's so cool. And that looks like a huge individual. But we keep cutting away. We keep cutting away. No. Just want to see the shark. Shark. There we go. We're getting there. Oh my gosh. Again, just the scale of this animal is so insane. Oh, this is cool. So this is a really cool apparatus. This is measuring the size of the animal from a distance. So those two laser beams are at a set distance that looks like that might be one. Nah, I don't know if that's like 1 meter. Is that 1 meter, do you think? I'm assuming that's about 1 meter, but those laser beams are really helpful, especially for deep sea. Stop staring at me. Why are you staring at me? Deep sea. Stop staring at me. Deep sea organization or deep sea research, because you know, of course, you can't get out of your submersible to measure an animal yourself. But with that kind of laser system, you can estimate the size based on like one set point, and you can apply that to the rest of the footage that you're getting. So you can actually make a size estimate of the shark that you're seeing. For example, with these laser beams, I'm assuming this is 1 meter. I think that's pretty fair to say that that's about 1 meter. So you can kind of get an estimate based on the scale of this footage that it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, about like 27, 30, I would say 30. Like this is about a 30-meter individual. So these laser beam things, they're actually really helpful. I forget their formal name, but they're extremely helpful. Again, for like mostly deep sea research, they're super helpful, but it's a nice way to measure large animals or distant animals or just deep sea animals. And we can estimate that this is about a 30-meter whale shark at most. Probably a little bit smaller than that. But yeah, so that was a cool showcase of that kind of technology. So yeah. Hawksbill, yes, awesome. Thanks, Roy. Yeah, I thought that was a hawksbill, but sea turtles sometimes kind of throw me off a little bit. So, and thanks, Howard. Yes, I will send pics. Thank you. That's awesome. So, most mouths are molds of real individuals, fiberglass with real jaws. Interesting. Yeah, because it's cool. Like the few that I've seen, it is amazing kind of seeing, like, at first, it throws me off at first where it's like, yeah, that's really well sculpted, and then I'm like, nope, that's actually real. So, but, alright, so this is a pretty cool website. Research. The South Ari Marine Protected Area, abbreviated as SAMPA. SAMPA is likely a secondary nursery location for whale sharks, which have grown above the juvenile period. In addition, sharks in this region are not seen again once they grow beyond 8 meters, and so corresponding to sexual maturity. It therefore appears SAMPA offers a critical habitat for sharks in this post-juvenile premature stage. So that is really cool. Whale sharks in the Maldives may exhibit annual intra-country migrations. Some individuals appear to follow a learned or habitual pattern of movements. Most individuals which have visited different atolls repetitively seem to be in those specific atolls at roughly the same time each year. This is likely tied to seasonal feeding opportunities. Very, very cool. Oh, sex ratio is nearly 50-50 from encounters submitted in this region. Whale shark south of Hovadu Kandu. Interesting. Sea surface temperature anomaly recorded in Sampa between 2013 and 2016 showed an average rise of 1.1 degrees Celsius, relates to severe bleaching and coral mortality observed. Interesting. Two studies concluded that there's no seasonality through the year for number of individual whale sharks in the Sampa region. This is a globally significant aggregation. Oh, this is really cool. Coastal areas whale sharks aggregate occur with a specific set of bathymetric requirements. Shallow areas in close proximity to a reef slope or shelf break with a steep gradient, which leads into water in the mesopelagic and pelagic zones. Now this is really cool because that sounds a lot like the Galapagos. We saw that depth map or bathymetric map where the Galapagos are, these shallow coral islands, and then they do descend into a very deep region fairly close by. So Sampa fits exactly within this prediction. You can read the paper as an open access here. Kind of want to check that out really quick. Does bathymetry drive coastal whale shark aggregations? That is really, really cool. Okay, the three key bathymetric characteristics similar at the aggregation sites are known to induce upwelling events, so bringing a lot of nutrients to the surface. That's really cool. Increase primary productivity and consequentially attract numerous other filter feeding species. The location of aggregation sites in these key areas can be attributed to this increased prey availability, thought to be the main reason for whale shark aggregations occur, extensively outlined in this literature. So we're just kind of seeing the outline of this, but that's actually extremely cool. That just as a quick refresher, upwelling is deep water kind of colliding with a continental shelf and being pushed up to the surface. It brings a lot of nutrients up to the surface, and the nutrients in turn create a plankton bloom, like a phytoplankton bloom. And these areas become really huge feeding sites for a lot of different animals, including whale sharks. So that's actually really cool to see that. The proximity to aggregations of shallow water areas such as reefs can also be an important factor why whale sharks thermoregulate after deep dives to feed. Oh. These findings increase our understanding of whale shark behavior and may help guide the identification and conservation of further aggregation sites. Can we see? Oh, we can actually see the text. I do want to dive into this thermoregulation thing, because I wonder if that relates to what we were thinking about in terms of, like, why do they dive down deep? Okay. Let's see. A number of ectothermic species require surface intervals to raise body temperature to levels needed to regulate physiological processes after a time spent foraging in cooler, deeper waters. The size of the whale shark's gills make them extremely efficient at filtering prey from the water, but the large volume of water passing over the gills causes whale sharks to cool relatively quickly when in deeper water. If thermoregulation occurs in warm, shallow areas with high productivity or an abundance of prey, whale sharks could continue to feed while increasing body temperature from deep dives. So, if I'm reading this correctly, whale sharks are eating prey both at the surface and in the deep, but it gets really cold in the deep, and so they come back up to the surface and they can just keep munching plankton at the surface while warming their body temperature. That's really cool. I'm just kind of curious what they eat at depth. The proximity of whale shark aggregations to deep water is therefore thought to be due to frequent deep dives for prey, whilst remaining close to shallow areas of high productivity for thermoregulation and potential feeding. All aggregation sites in the study were significantly closer to areas with water in the mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones. This is really cool, because again, the Galapagos is like this. The deep water bathymetric variables, site depth, buffer depth, and proximity to the 200 meter and 1,000 meter isobaths explain the greatest deviance of whale shark aggregation site presence, showing these aspects may be highly important for separating aggregation and non-aggregation sites. That is really cool. So I wonder what they eat at depth, because you're not going to get phytoplankton, so you're going to get zooplankton, and I guess small fish. But that's really interesting that that's the reason why they go down deep. That's pretty wild to think about. A number of studies with tagged whale sharks show their deep diving behavior. Rowan and Gore recorded 3 whale sharks spent 30% of their time at depths of 750 to 1,000 meters. This is a twilight zone. A recent study by Tyminsky et al. Showed one individual diving as deep as 1,900 meters, so it's a midnight zone, in temperatures 4 degrees Celsius. Similarly reflected by Brunschweiler et al., in which 2 tagged whale sharks record depths of 1,200 meters, a midnight zone, in temperatures of 3.4 degrees Celsius. That's insane. Graham, Roberts, and Smart carried out a similar study, further illustrating deep diving behavior and also recording available prey at these depths. It has been suggested whale sharks feed on zooplankton. Okay, there we go. Euphasids and myctophids, squid and jellyfish in these deep waters seaward of the shelf banks. Although chlorophyll A concentration was lower at aggregation sites, the satellite sensors cannot penetrate deeper than 60 meters, causing deep water areas with high productivity, such as around slopes and shelves, to be missed. These areas have also been shown to be highly important to whale sharks for feeding in a number of studies, and more recently showed areas of these bathymetric characteristics most associated with whale shark sightings. So that is amazing. I had no idea that was like a thing, because I'm used to, like, you know, the most productivity being at the surface, and you just wouldn't think a whale shark would want to go down deep, you know, since it loves phytoplankton, which is close to the surface. It's really fascinating. Man. Similarly, the basking shark and megamouth shark have also been recorded diving into mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones in search of prey. This is so cool. Okay, Nelson et al., Sims et al., Gore et al., Wilson et al. Hypothesized the deep diving behavior in all three species is to locate the deep scattering layer and associated prey at dusk and dawn. This idea was further supported by Gore et al., who suggested regular dives of increasing depths is indicative of systematic foraging, supporting the theory that deep dives occur to locate horizontally dispersed prey. Interesting. However, despite research into deep diving of these shark species, the function of deep dives for whale sharks remains poorly understood. Still, that is really, really incredible. Wow. Just... that is wild, actually. Very, very cool. I know, and it's amazing seeing that, like, there's a similar thing going on with the other two major plankton-eating species, like basking sharks and megamouths. Like, that's pretty wild. In this study, whale shark aggregations occurred in relatively flat areas with a mean slope of 0.6 degree or 0.7 degrees. Areas with steep slopes are known to induce upwelling events. Particularly coastal areas with depth changes rapidly, forcing offshore deepwater currents to deflect against the steep slopes, bringing nutrient-rich water to the surface. These areas have have biological significance and often associated with enhanced primary productivity, therefore increasing plankton abundance and attracting a number of species throughout the trophic levels. Man, this is so cool. Basking sharks, they're saying the same thing. They like steep slopes. Highest zooplankton densities observed. This is so, so cool. Different species, but, like, you know, a similar niche, you know? Alright, so I kind of dove into a rabbit hole. I kind of forgot where we were. Wait. Oh, wait, this is cool. Sorry, one more thing. Because we've got the zebra shark. Roy, you were asking earlier how zebra sharks and whale sharks are related, and I do want to read what this is about. While there's no evidence for whale shark aggregations or for breeding, there's lack of information regarding the breeding behavior of this species. Therefore, it is plausible aggregations could also be used for mating, which has been observed in zebra sharks, and is suspected to occur in basking shark aggregations. Very cool. Oh, and as certain characteristics and features of bathymetry are of great importance to a number of marine megafauna species, more research should be carried out in this field, with conservation efforts focusing on areas where species are at their most abundant, but also at their most vulnerable. That is really, really cool. So yeah, this was a really cool study. I think we should kind of switch over to something a little bit shallower, because that was a lot of science just now, and personally my brain needs a break. So I think we should check out some summary pages. But that was an amazing study, kind of about whale shark habitat preference, and I didn't really realize that whale sharks might be diving down deep for prey. That's actually really cool. It's a concept I didn't really think about. So But I do want to check out really quick the IUCN Red List, or good friend IUCN Red List, and the profile in terms of why whale sharks are endangered, and what we can do and what is being done to help them. So whale shark is currently listed as endangered and largely depleted. It is a globally distributed species, and again, I live around here, and I'm at the northern range of the limit. But let's see in detail what's going on with this species. And actually, this is a new feature, the green status assessment. Most of our sharks, actually I think almost all of the sharks, I don't think we've seen a shark with this green status assessment, because I think you need more data to make this, but all of our sharks, we've had like the classic IUCN Red List assessment. So yeah, we'll check both of them out, because I do want to see why whale sharks are classified in this way. So, the whale shark is the world's largest living fish, is a cosmopolitan tropical warm temperate species. Genetic results indicate that two major subpopulations exist in the Atlantic Ocean and the Indo-Pacific. That is really cool. So I have a subpopulation of Atlantic whale sharks, apparently, and then there's a subpopulation in the Indo-Pacific. It's really, really cool. Pronounced size and sex-based segregation is present in most of the species known coastal feeding areas, with coastal sites typically dominated by juvenile male sharks. The largest known aggregation sites for whale sharks host hundreds or low thousands of individuals based on counts and model estimates. Although individual sharks are highly mobile, many show a degree of site fidelity. Awesome. That's really cool that an animal this big has site fidelity, you know, because with site fidelity we think of like sicklefin lemon sharks, sand tiger sharks, black tip reef sharks. So it's cool that whale sharks are also a shark with site fidelity. Directed fisheries and significant bycatch fisheries have targeted areas where high densities of whale sharks occur, leading to rapid reductions in catch per unit effort measures. Some bias towards juvenile whale shark dominated aggregations are present in trend data. In the absence of information on other life stages, these trends are inferred to be representative of population level declines. While a number of commercial fisheries for the species closed during the 1990-2000s, whale shark products remain valuable and the species is still commonly caught in some countries. Serious injury and infirm mortality through vessel strike is a threat to several globally significant aggregations, as is bycatch in net fisheries and the risk of ship strike. And it makes sense because this is a species that spends most of its time at the surface for the plankton. In the absence of conservation action, declines is likely to continue into the future. Based on count data, model population estimates, and habitat availability, 75% of the global whale shark population is inferred to occur in the Indo-Pacific and 25% in the Atlantic. A variety of data sets present declines of 40 to 92%, inferring an overall decline of 63% in the Indo-Pacific over the last 75 years, 3 generations, resulting in a subpopulation assessment of endangered. In the Atlantic, the overall population decline is considered to be lower at greater than 30%, resulting in subpopulation assessment of vulnerable. So it looks like Atlantic whale sharks are doing a little bit better than Indo-Pacific whale sharks. Given the bulk of the global population occurs in the Indo-Pacific, the overall global decline is inferred to be over 50%. Globally, the whale shark is therefore assessed as endangered. So, gotcha. Now this is interesting. Again, I haven't really seen this as much, the green status. So, and this is interesting. Conservation impact meters, a low conservation legacy, low conservation dependence, medium conservation gain, and high recovery potential. So I don't know really what that means. It sounds encouraging. So let's see what this means. I just need to take a drink of water. The whale shark species recovery score of 29%, largely depleted, is due to the species being threatened across its range because of declines in abundance. The whale shark has a low conservation legacy. Without past conservation action, the whale shark would have a score of 25%, as it is expected with the closure of some fisheries and two special units have helped the species decline there. Okay.
there is a low conservation action stop. It is expected that resume highlight could become an issue one spatial unit 10-year period where it gets 7%. The whale shark medium. This is how they break it down. The whale shark medium conservation gain. The species has a long generation time, limiting the speed at which it can show recovery. But for 10-year period, is expected to a reduction in targeted fishing and bycatch mitigation, gillnet and purseine fisheries will allow populations to stabilize, albeit at a low level, leading to a score of 55%. Finally, within 100 years, it will be possible for the whale shark to fully recover. Okay. Climate shifts and potential effects on plankton productivity are not expected to limit whale shark habitat availability. Therefore, the recovery potential for the whale shark is high, but achieving this will required effort, concerted and sustained effort. So there's hope for people who particularly love these animals and are sad that they are endangered. That is really nice to see that there is hope, that if we just focus on their needs and conservation, and specifically discourage fishing for the species, and then also be mindful of vessel traffic. And it'll be kind of interesting to see the breakdown, like what kind of vessels are hitting these animals. Is it like shipping? Is it fishing boats? Is it recreational boats? That would be interesting to kind of break down. But I really appreciate seeing this, that within 100 years, it would be possible for the whale shark to fully recover. That's a really nice thing to see. So, just want to check the... And this is a really robust profile, actually. I think this is actually maybe arguably the most robust shark profile we've seen on IUCN Red List. It's really fascinating. Conservation actions in detail. Let's see. The whale shark has been listed in a number of international conventions and agreements. The species is included in Annex 1, highly migratory species of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which provides a framework for the conservation and management of fisheries and other uses of the seas. To date, no management initiatives enacted through UNCLOS, UNCLOS, have included the whale shark. Under the aegis of this convention, the United Nations Agreement on Straddling and Highly Migratory Fish Stocks was introduced in 1995, which is potential for direct actions to be taken in relation to species such as whale shark, although none have been yet proposed. Already, this is a lot more than I've seen for other shark species. It's actually... that's already more. I don't think I've ever seen the United Nations Convention for the Law of the Sea applied to any other species of shark. So, interesting. Also in 1995, the FAO finalized a Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries, and then 1998, the International Plan of Action for the Conservation and Management of Sharks. Noted that only 22 national plans of action have been implemented at the time, limiting the effectiveness of this initiative. Whale shark was listed as Appendix 2 of the Bonn Convention for the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, which is SIMS. This identifies it as a migratory species whose unfavorable conservation status would benefit from the implementation of international cooperative agreements. I really would love to talk to somebody who kind of knows these things in detail and who could report how effective some of these are, or what their impact has really been as far as sharks go. Because off the top of my head, I don't know really in detail how much SIMS and CITES and being on the appendices, how much that really is implemented, because a lot of it, of course, is you're working with multiple governments with different laws. There's some countries like Australia who do a really good job at minding conservation and minding what a species needs. I would even say the United States does a pretty good job for the most part in terms of shark conservation and being mindful of certain species. There's definitely species in the U.S. that you cannot fish. You cannot recreationally take quite a handful of species in the U.S. And then there's some countries that it just doesn't exist. The protection doesn't exist. So I would be curious
maybe on a future like interview stream, like how do these bodies work, and how well are they regulated and implemented, and how effective have they been, and is there a difference between the different understandings? It's a good question. So I think that'll be really cool to interview somebody someday, kind of who has a more of a in-depth understanding about how these really have been impacting sharks. So, but I'll take it. I mean, anything is better than nothing. But yeah, it would be interesting to kind of go into that more into detail. So, Sims has provided a forum for the development of more direct conservation approaches via adoption in 2010, and a memorandum of understanding on the migratory shark species listed in the agreement, including the whale shark. There are 40 signatories to this memorandum as of February 2016, which aims to improve scientific knowledge, ensure fishery sustainability, protect critical habitats, movement corridors, and life stages of sharks, while increasing public perception and national, regional, and international cooperation towards these objectives. Whale shark routinely move across political boundaries, emphasizing the importance of this unified approach. Yes, so yes, highly migratory species are very tricky because of the fact that they cross so many different governments, and so many different governments have so many different kinds of laws regarding whether or not you can take it. So whale shark was listed as Appendix 2 for CITES, Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species. This requires fishing states to demonstrate that any exports were derived from a sustainably managed population, enabling exports and imports to be monitored through a permit system. Continued presence of whale shark fins in Hong Kong markets, a major international transit point, despite no records in the site's wildlife trade database, suggests that illegal trade is occurring outside of the site's permit system. So that sucks. No whale shark fisheries have been certified as sustainable under CITES Appendix 2 regulations. So yes, any trading or importing of whale shark anything is not legal. So identifying the source of these fins and enforcing CITES regulations should be a key goal for managers. Yeah, I mean, this is a really good rallying species, honestly, because it's just it's kind of like one of the most obvious sharks to not mess with. Just it's such a charismatic species. It is maybe the closest to a panda bear as far as sharks go. It is just you do not touch the species. So these are the countries that have national or territory level management. There's quite a few, actually. Let's see. Australia and US is here. There we go. I'm sure Canada would be here if it wasn't for the shark's range. So the only reason I feel like Canada is not on here is because it is chilly and outside of the shark's habitat. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. And yes, that is what's going on. The northern limit is Maine. So gotcha. So, oh wait. Oh, extant and vagrant resident. What? Okay, so Canada is on here actually, but I mean, shout out to Canada, because Canada does good shark things. Canada does really good shark things, and the whale shark's range is mostly tropical and subtropical, so I'm not calling that out because that makes perfect sense. So, while many of the larger commercial fisheries for whale sharks have now ceased, that's good, primarily due to rapid catch reductions, fisheries and trade management is still required. The active fishery in Chinese waters is almost certainly unsustainable. I didn't even know that China had a fishery for whale sharks. This national fishery is likely to be the largest single direct threat to whale shark recovery in the Indo-Pacific. Yikes. Enforcement of existing laws for whale shark protection and education awareness programs for fishers will be an important component in management there. No idea that was a thing. Did not know that there was this fishery in China, so that sucks. Key habitats for whale sharks in the form of coastal feeding locations or movement corridors are protected in Australia. Oh, this is actually really cool. So these are the whale shark hotspots. So we got Ningaloo Reef in Australia, Gladden Spit in Belize, Cocos Island in Costa Rica, Galapagos Islands in Ecuador, Yum-Balam Biosphere Reserve in Mexico. Sounds awesome, actually. Coiba Island in Panama, and St. Helena Island in the UK. St. Helena Island. Is that... I'm assuming that's like a British territory? Just Google it out really quick. Yep, it is a British overseas territory. Okay. Site protection is necessary in some areas where high densities of whale sharks are present, as anthropogenic pressures on these sites could have disproportionate impact on subpopulation declines. Important aggregation areas for whale sharks in Mexico, Mozambique, and Qatar are examples. Where whale sharks are routinely feeding on the surface, such as off Quintana Roo in Mexico, these areas should also be managed to reduce vessel strikes in nearby shipping lanes. This could entail either seasonal go-slow zones or moving these routes to avoid shark aggregations. It's really amazing reading this, because this is literally so much like whales. This is literally a lot like the kinds of things you should be thinking about for, actual whales. Like whales being super protected, and conservation being super mindful in terms of like how far away you should keep from a whale, and like being mindful of like shipping lanes or vessel traffic. So that's actually really cool. Protection of the specific biological phenomena that influence whale sharks' presence at many aggregation sites, such as fish spawning sites, would also help to safeguard these habitats. Regional fisheries management organizations have banned the international setting of purse seine nets around whale shark in the eastern Pacific, western central Pacific, and Indian Oceans, though not yet in the Atlantic. However, a large proportion of entangled whale sharks were not sighted prior to the nets being deployed. Therefore, fisher education and regulation of safe release practices should be a key management goal. The Inter-American Tropical Tuna Commission and Indian Ocean Tuna Commission require that best practices for safe release of whale sharks be followed when they are accidentally encircled, and similar guidelines were endorsed by the Western and Central Pacific Fisheries Commission members in 2015. So, already, these are a lot of layers of mindfulness and conservation. Like, this is, I would say it's safe to say, like, what do you guys think? I think this is probably the most protected, or like, this might be the most protected shark, or like the poster child of shark conservation. I really do think it's safe to say that this is probably the closest shark to like a panda bear, and it'll be interesting someday when we get to white sharks. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I just saw Howard's comment. You were right. It could easily be the poster board for shark conservation. Yeah, I think, this is so much material, which is fantastic. Yeah. That would be an interesting name for a shark. Panda sharks. Yeah. Yep. And no wonder they're called whale sharks. Yes. Yeah. It's really appropriate. Just like, it's actually really cool that there's so many layers of conservation and action regarding this species, and that it's named after, because of its huge size, it's named after whales. And as far as marine animals go, like, whales spearheaded any kind of conservation. I feel like I think whales were the first major group of marine life where we really took it seriously and had a concerted effort of protecting them. So which, tying it all together, sorry, it's just kind of wild. I came back from Washington State, which was the site of a lot of really important killer whale protection measures. So it is all connected. We all live in a symbiont circle. What happens to one of you will impact the other. You must understand this, says Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, anyway. Oh, boy. All RFMOs, regional fisheries management organizations, should prohibit the deliberate setting of nets around whale sharks and require that whale sharks be safely released when they are caught accidentally. And the summary of the guidelines, fishery education training initiatives would be useful to facilitate implementation. So yeah, again, lots of layers, which is great. This is definitely the beefiest, we're not even done yet, but it's the beefiest conservation action details we've seen for any of the sharks we've talked about on the stream, so it's pretty cool. Whale shark tourism is managed through legislation in Australia, Belize, Ecuador, Mexico, and St. Helena Island, UK. Very cool. At the time of writing, whale shark tourism was not legal in Qatar, while, I don't know if it's Qatar or Qatar, apologies if I'm not saying that right, where whale shark aggregations occur in the restricted oil field. Oh, gotcha. Voluntary codes of conduct exist in many other tourism locations. As tourism can increase the risk of boat strikes due to the close proximity of boats and sharks, enforcing minimum approach distances for vessels can help reduce shark stress and reduce the probability of boat strike. So yeah, I didn't want to say that earlier because I really do love ecotourism, and I think it's such an important thing because there's definitely a very powerful connection with being with nature and being with the animals that we are trying to save. I think that is such a vital thing, to actually be in the same space as some of these creatures. So I didn't really want to. I really hoped that as far as boat strikes go, they weren't really related to ecotourism, but it makes sense that some of these or boat strikes are a concern for ecotourism, and I think it's just further encouragement for responsible ecotourism in the sense that we do want to be with these species, but there's no point if you are being reckless and just taking the money without actual consideration for the well-being of the animal. So it's interesting, like whale watch boats have to strike a tricky balance of wanting to show you these animals but like not wanting to harass whales. And similarly with whale sharks, it's the same thing. Just we want to be close to them, but we don't want to like harass them or accidentally hurt them. So because ultimately it just defeats the purpose of the whole thing anyway. And you lose really like the heart of what ecotourism should be, which is like inspiration, being with these animals. So similarly, enforcing general codes of practice for tourism industries will help to ensure their sustainability. In some areas such as China, India, Mozambique, Taiwan, and Tanzania, the close proximity of whale shark feeding areas or movement corridors with net fisheries leads to regular incidental bycatch. Restrictions on mesh size, net length, and fishing locations can help avoid whale shark catch. Training, safe release, or provision of bycatch reduction technologies, deliberate weak points in nets, or other ways to avoid entanglement could help reduce the likelihood of shark injury or mortality when interactions occur. So that was a very robust report from IUCN Red List. And again, I think like we've all been saying, this is definitely, if you want to write a book on shark conservation, this is the species that should be on the cover of the book. So whale sharks, definitely panda of the sea. I definitely think this is the most robust report we've seen, and an excellent candidate, being a species that needs our help, and then also like is just this charismatic, alluring, powerful species. It is such a beautiful, beautiful species. So we are getting close to 11. Roy, I just saw your LOL. Yes, thank you for appreciating my Phantom Menace joke. So, like, a Phantom Menace. Unironically, that's my favorite Star Wars movie, and that's terrible because I know it's not a good movie. It's not a well-made movie, but I genuinely enjoy that movie quite a lot. But I think it's nostalgia. So, anyway. We're getting close to 11, so I think while we're wrapping up... Iconic, yeah. It is. I mean, Duel of the Fates, it's the best Star Wars duel. It's the absolute best one. I mean, the Empire duel is excellent. Story-wise, the Empire duel is the best, but martial arts-wise, Duel of the Fates is the best. So, just saying. But anyway, we're getting close to 11, so... No. Sorry, misclicked. We're getting close to 11, so I do want to hop around a couple whale shark resources, but I think we should consider wrapping up soon. Thoughts on next week's shark? Any suggestions? I have one as a backup, but I want to leave it open for the team. So just let me know which shark you guys like to do for next week, and I'll hop around some whale shark resources. And I won't read everything out loud. I wanted to read everything from IUCN Red List because this is such an important species for conservation, but I think for the rest we'll just kind of hop around, and I'll just shout out anything that is kind of catching my eye. But that's interesting. The only fishery to exist in the Atlantic was in Cuba. which caught about 9 sharks annually and was later shut down and banned in 1991. I did not know that, so I'm glad we do not have an Atlantic whale shark fishery. Oh, whale sharks have been kept in specialized aquaria in Japan, China, and in the Georgia Aquarium in the United States. But their large size and specialized diet excludes the species from mainstream aquariums. Very interesting. Oh, wow. Threats to the species include bycatch, fisheries, vessel strikes, and poorly conducted tourism. Yikes. Yeah, big yikes. This is cool. The predictable occurrence of whale sharks in a few localities, such as Western Australia, has led to the development of an expanding tourism industry. In this area, the whale shark is a protected species, and its tourism has been managed through a system of controls, including the licensing of a limited number of operators' tours. Oh, nice. In addition, there have been calls from conservation-minded divers worldwide to refrain from riding, chasing, or in any way harassing any large marine animals, including whale sharks. Recently, some observations made on the Ningaloo reefs. Whale sharks provide the information that regular diving is normal behavior of these sharks and not an avoidance reaction during contact with humans. However, the natural variability in the whale shark's abundance and distribution, the reasons for aggregation in some areas, and the carrying capacity of the industry are still unknown. So, just as a rule of thumb for everybody, do not touch or harass marine life. Actually, kind of like a fun example in a bizarre way. This is really weird, but ooh, Atlantic weasel shark. Interesting. Atlantic weasel shark. Yes. Did we? Yes, I think that would actually be. Oh yeah. Sorry, just. Roy, like Famous because of the duel. Everything else is weird, though. Yes, I agree. Atlantic weasel shark. I think that one is a winner. I paused for a second because we didn't do that one, did we? And it's like, nope. We did not do that one. So yes, let's do the Atlantic weasel shark. I think that's a fantastic suggestion. So awesome. But anyway, I was as far as wildlife interaction goes, kind of a fun story from last week, and I feel like this might be a good example of safe, responsible animal interaction, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, any future viewers. But my friend and I were snorkeling in this area in Washington. I forget specifically what place this was, but there were harbor seals in the water, and they were kind of looking at us. They were pretty far away and checking us out, and I didn't go up to them. Also, because seals are actually mean. You have to be careful of seals because they can actually bite, and they can actually deliver a serious bite. So I shouldn't say they're mean, but they can actually deliver a very serious bite. So they're not these cute cuddly animals. They do actually. You have to be kind of careful around seals, but. Anyway, but a seal was looking at us, and I just was calling to it, just kind of like a dog, kind of come here, just kind of this happy, kind of ruffling him up a little bit. And the seal was actually coming closer towards us and doing passes with us. So, but we did not go up to it, and we did not pursue it. And I think that was a good way. I think it's a good rule of thumb for a couple reasons. One. I don't want to bother the seal. I don't want to make it uncomfortable. And then two, I don't want to get bit by a seal. Again, seals can give a really nasty bite. But what was cool is just kind of looking at it and calling to it. We actually got its attention, and when we dove down underwater, it actually was getting closer to us, and it kept doing these passes where it was looking at us, then disappearing back into the depths, and then coming back to us, and then disappearing back into the depths. So we were actually having a connection, a actual connection, where we were literally checking each other out. and but it wasn't harassing because the seal is voluntarily coming towards us. We're voluntarily like, calling to it, wanting it to check us out, but we're not approaching it because it's like, again, it's a safety issue, and also like not a, like you don't want to harass the animal. So, but it was awesome. It was an actual moment of connection, and it's just like a good rule of thumb. And I had another point, and I totally like forgot what it was. But we actually spooked each other because I don't know if you've seen that YouTube video of bear and man spook each other. But the seal and I actually had that moment because we lost track of each other, and we both surfaced at the same time. And the seal was a bit too close. Like it surfaced. It was maybe about like 10 meters away, maybe not super close, but like close enough where it's like, okay, this seal's like really close. And I think the seal forgot where I was, but like it looked at me and it just immediately just jumped away. So it's like we surfed at the same time, we saw each other, and the seal just freaked out and just plopped away because I don't think he realized that we were actually that close together. So it was like a funny moment. We both spooked each other because it took me by surprise too. But anyway, I think that was a good example of responsible wildlife interaction where it's like you can have a moment of connection, but it's something that's earned and it's something that is like mutual. Like the animal is curious about me and I'm curious about the animal, and so we do our dance in the sea. So Roy, pursuing any animal can lead to them getting defensive easily, especially for sharks. Yes. So I still don't know why people touch sharks, because it's like, all sharks all sharks with the exception of whale sharks, basking sharks, and megamouths, who do technically have really sharp teeth, but they're just very small, all sharks have extremely sharp teeth. And, if you touch a shark and you harass it, it could give you a razor sharp serious bite. And even if it's a harmless species, it's just best to be mindful and respectful. And there are some sharks that are genuinely curious about you and will come up to you in a non-aggressive way. But again, it's about reading the situation, in a way that is respecting the animal and kind of keeping in mind, what does this animal want? How is it feeling? Am I harassing it? Am I bothering it? Or are we just kind of being chill and checking each other out? So, but anyway, with that, I think we're gonna wrap up for tonight. But let's end on, let's just pull up some nice whale shark footage just to kind of end on, because this one is actually really cool. This is from Ningaloo Reef, which is actually awesome. So this is one of the big whale shark sites. So, and we'll skip the ad, but but this is the Australian Institute of Marine Science, AIMS, which is really cool. I don't think we've seen, or I don't think we've looked at a lot of stuff from AIMS yet. So, because we've done the Australian Museum, but not the actual. Oh, let's subscribe. Not the actual Institute of Marine Science. So, very cool. But anyway, with that, I think this is a good note to end on. Oh, good point, Roy. Don't great white sharks hang out near harbor seals? So yes, they do. If I was in any other part of the world, I would not be doing that. But fun fact, with Washington, again, because they have a huge orca population, the orcas keep the white sharks away. White sharks do not want to be in the same area as orca whales. So, I was in an area that, even though it had a high population of harbor seals, it is also the heart of orca country. So I did not expect white sharks at all, and I felt very comfortable. So if I was in South Africa, I would not be saying that, and I would not be doing anything. I would not be calling to the seal like a dog. I would be like, no, I want to get out of here. This is not safe. This is not safe at all. So, but anyway, on that note, I hope you guys have a happy Shark Week. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And this was an awesome stream. I think we covered a lot of cool stuff with the whale shark. and got to really dive into conservation, which I think is a perfect thing for Shark Week. Just as like a nice way to kind of round it out a little bit more. If it gets too sensational and stuff, we've got a nice chunk of actual solid shark science and shark conservation awareness. So, and yes, Roy, good things the orcas were there. Yes, good. I completely agree. Like this is, I appreciate the orcas kind of keep an eye on me. So, but have a good night, guys, and congratulations again, Howard. I will send you your prize soon, and we'll have the banner on the YouTube channel shortly. So, but take care and happy Shark Week, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.